Okay, boys and girls, in our final lesson, what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to create a graph using all these scores that you have created so far. Now, for today's example, let me just copy all this first. Let me bring them all over to the third worksheet and paste them in. Okay, let me centralize this in the middle. Okay, now let me expand the tables here so we have a clearer look at them by changing the column width. Okay, now, in today's example, we're going to be using the tables that you've created over here to create your own graphs. Now, let me show you the very basics of what we need to do. The first thing we need to do before we start creating a graph is to highlight what we want to represent. So in this case, I've highlighted goal setting for the actual scores over here. And then now what I need to do is that I need to go to insert. This time around, I go to recommended charts. Click on this and you can see that there's a whole list of charts here that I can choose from. Now, one very important rule whenever you're coming up with a chart is that you must understand what the chart is representing. For example, if I choose a chart like this, most of you won't be able to make sense about what's going on. If I choose a chart like this, same thing. You might not understand what it is. But if I choose something like this, you can see my scores in term 1, term 2, term 3, term 4 split out into the different subjects and how well I did over the different terms. A graph like this, that makes more sense, is very, very vital, especially when it comes to showing numbers, when it comes to showing representations. So you must understand what the graph represents before you choose it. So for this example, you can choose a very simple chart over here, press OK, and then in this chart itself, you can start editing the details inside. So for example, this one here will be actual scores for maybe 2017. Okay, and you can see that the table here has been labeled. Now, other things you can do to the table as well is to go to this plus sign over here. You can change the elements of how it looks like. For example, you can add in different details as well, like here, data labels. You can see the numbers will all be represented inside here as well. So you don't have to physically compare them to the side and have a look over there. Now, also, you can make the picture of the graph larger, so it'll be easier and clearer for you to see what is going on. Now, of course, you can combine a few different charts as well, or you can come up with different charts and the designs. For example, you can change the colors here to make it look nicer. You can have different charts, again, for different types of tables. You can see over here, the representations are all different from what you initially scored. So for example, this one here, you can see the differences in scores, whether it's positive or negative. For example, you can see over here, if we compare mathematics in term 1, term 2, term 3, term 4, you can see that you've consistently scored worse than what you initially planned for. So that's why you can see the graph is going back here. But in English, you did better. So this is how you actually do some comparisons. So again, the choice of graph is up to you and for how you want to represent them. Now, in these types of graphs again, it is up to you how you want to change how it looks like and how you want to add in the different types of data over here to make your graph looks nicer. Now again, it is very important for you to come up with graphs that you understand. Okay, and so this is basically what Microsoft Excel is all about. You can see here, you create the tables with information inside. You manipulate the data here to find out what you need and what you want and let the computers do all the calculations. And then finally, once you have what you're looking for, you can convert them into a graph form so that other people who are looking through the files will straight away understand or can straight away comprehend what you are looking for and have a very clear representation of how well or how badly you did, or numbers that you can use in comparisons. Okay, so this is the last lesson that we have for Microsoft Excel. It's just an introductory course. Of course, we can have many more different types of tables, charts, and many uses that we have for Microsoft Excel itself. But for this lesson here, we will end it as it is, just because this is an introduction. Alright, thank you boys and girls.